Hey, hey. So today I have a new scenario. How many enemy ships can you engage at a single time and come out victorious? And even more importantly, at what age can you do that, and with what kind of technological advantages? So if you have a 1920 scenario, do you think you can take on, with a single battleship, take on 3 battleships, a heavy cruiser, 3 light cruisers, and 6 destroyers? Well, I put that to the test. I spent probably like an hour optimizing this design, mostly to get the balance just right without touching the armor values. And I had to make some compromises to make this work. I went with the 14 inches here because it's the largest gun of the Mark III series I get. Once you go to 15, you drop down to Mark I immediately. And while they do pack a more punch, they're not as easy to use. And they're also significantly heavier. So I think in 1920, 14 inches is actually quite usable. And I went with the 3 inches to cover, take out the enemy destroyers and light cruisers, because once again, there's a separation here between 2 inches and 3 inches, and then to 4. That's where the Mark IV mark is, and all of these are Mark IIIs. So I went with the Mark III. I think I actually would have preferred to use the Mark II one, or the 2 inches, and that's because I already played this scenario. I know how this goes, and they're actually better to just deal with the destroyers. With the destroyers, you just want fire rate. That's the main priority. It doesn't really matter how much damage you do, to be honest. The 7 inches, they perform excellently. I initially tried to put 8 inches on there, but they're just too heavy, and I had to make some sacrifices. Other than that, this is a, what can I say, this is a fairly fast battleship for the era, but you need to do something to not be overwhelmed by the enemy numbers, and you're going to see that during the battle. I don't have fire superiority, and I can't take any more punishment than they do. So I need to do something to be able to handle that many enemy ships. Otherwise, there's not really anything special here, other than that I did focus on survivability, because there will be so much incoming enemy fire that I need the barbettes to make sure I don't get hooded. I needed torpedo defense, or I thought I needed a torpedo defense, but that's you know, something you'll see during the clip. Otherwise, this is not too heavily armored, although I really like getting 7 inches of deck armor in 1920. That feels like a luxury, so maybe I were kind of heavily armored, but it's not excessively so. So, without any further ado, let's see the battle. I have to say, for once, I'm quite pleased with the aesthetics of this ship. It seems like the enemy battleships are packing 14 inches this time. 2 more barrels that be, but there are also 3 of them. But at least it seems like the AI didn't make any clown car ships this time. The fact that they're opening fire at me at this distance also means that they have a fairly high chance of hitting me. It's not like other scenarios where you abuse speed or a small size and they're just not able to even fire at you. So we have finally identified the enemy battleship, and they're actually slightly smaller than mine. But otherwise, I think they're significantly slower as well, but you know, correct for the time, and they're decently armored. So you know, they don't really stand too much of a chance against my design, I think. But they are, you know, fairly era accurate, or at least I think so, for the AI to come up with this design. We're already quite a bit into the fight, and you can see that the 14 inches, they're not capable of just brute forcing the situation. This is going to be an endurance fight where we have to whittle down our enemies, it seems. So this is interesting. At this point, I haven't seen anything to the enemy escort, but if they get too close to the ships you're firing at, it's fairly common that you'll actually hit them instead. And it seems like the bullets actually track where they hit if you're not actually aiming at somebody, and that means it's often very easy to hit something important by targeting ship A, and then you hit B by accident, and it often causes catastrophic injuries like that you see here. It's the ship we hit, it flooded and sank. I really like it when the enemy AI does this. They slow down like that and they turn their entire side of the ship to face against me. And I basically have a few shots where I have full penetration capabilities. It's really nice when they do that. I appreciate it. It seems like the enemy's screen is finally making its appearance, but honestly, I don't think the enemy AI really knows how to properly screen or use its torpedo capabilities. But to be honest, in this scenario, I don't think it has the speed to keep up with me and do its job properly anyway. I quickly regret coming this close to the enemy. Not that I fear the torpedo ships and anything, but the damage racks up pretty quickly once you're in range. My ship isn't really designed to tank a lot of damage, and very quickly, like if you can see my secondary guns, I'm down to 70% of their efficiency already. So the timeline is now 30 minutes in the editor while I'm editing this, including the intro and preface and the sign, but still, it would have been a very long video if it took 30 minutes for you to see the first enemy battleship go down. And here's the second battleship sinking to the bottom of the ocean. The third and last one should probably be joining it pretty soon. And to complete the set, we have the third ship of its class sinking. The 14-incher doesn't have the fire rate to be considered an anti-light cruiser weapon, but it still does the job fairly well, and it's pretty accurate as too. And that means that I don't really feel like I need the 3 inches here. I feel like if I had more 2 inches and just could put more lead down the range, I feel like they would deal with the destroyers even better, and for less weight as well. A wild armored cruiser appeared. I had completely forgotten about this one, but its weapon is kind of anemic with only a 7-incher, so I feel like the fort. Do I really say feel like that often? I need to start working on my vocabulary while I'm recording. The 14-incher will make short work of a armored cruiser. That's nothing to question. In the words of the great Tychus Fidley, and I'm paraphrasing here, this is the world's greatest turkey shoot. And it might be a bit of an exaggeration, but there's really nothing more these enemy screens can do against me. And there we have it. It is quite possible to defeat the armada on your own. I think I need to seek out more dangerous scenarios. If you have any ideas for those, please put them in the comments below. That would help out a lot. And otherwise, I'll see you next time.